Hey YouTube, it's me, Brianna. For today's video, I thought we could discuss books. Primarily, 5 books that I personally didn't feel lived up to the hype. Now, I know that everyone has different tastes when it comes to literature, and I have different tastes than a lot of you, and I have similar tastes to a lot of you, but that's not what this is about. This is about literary integrity. What I mean by that is in this video, I'm going to talk about books that I don't feel should have been published at all, and I'm going to talk about books that had potential but didn't quite see it through. Which means a lot of you are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. That's what I'm expecting. And if you disagree with me, I just ask you to remember that this is a personal YouTube video, and this is not me giving a presidential campaign speech or anything like that. So if you get offended by something I say, just feel free to click that little X up there and just zip on out of here. Okay, so I want all of you to sit down, take a deep breath, hang on, and let's get started. Okay, the first book that, didn't really do it for me is J.K. Rowling's The Casual Vacancy. Now, I didn't really know what to expect from this book going in. I love J.K. Rowling. I love Harry Potter. I mean, who doesn't? Anyway. And I just thought, this is different because it's adult literature, but at the same time it's J.K. Rowling, and I'm sure I'm going to love it. Well, I didn't. I was very wrong. I didn't hate it, per se, but I probably wouldn't read it again if I had to. Honestly, it was pretty difficult for me to even make it to the end. There's a lot of plot holes and a lot of places where I just found myself not really caring, and I wondered what was wrong with Rowling and how she had gone from Harry Potter to, well, not. Anyway, it's not just about the fact that it's not Harry Potter, it's the fact that it's not a great book on its own. And, if you did like reading it, and I know a lot of people who did, that's fine. But I personally didn't feel like it warranted all the attention it got. The second book I want to talk about is Divergent. Now, I know that a lot of people have read The Hunger Games and like to compare Divergent to The Hunger Games, but they're not the same thing at all. I liked The Hunger Games. I couldn't really get into Divergent. See, for me, it wasn't the plot so much as the prose. I didn't really like the author's style, and I couldn't really get past the words to get into the heart of the story. On top of that, I didn't feel like Tris was as fully fleshed out as she could have been, and it was hard for me to see the progression of the relationship between her and Four as anything but idealistic, at best. I just didn't believe it, and I didn't sympathize for her as much as I should have. And then I felt bad about not sympathizing for her, which just made me feel ashamed and guilty for the entire book. Which, needless to say, did not make for an ideal reading experience. The third book I want to talk about is Twilight, which I know, it's universally bad, and I think most of us can agree that it is just not good literature. However, you may be surprised to hear that I know at least 5 people who don't see anything wrong with it. In fact, I know at least 10 people who are madly in love with it. And as much as that grosses me out, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I just had a lot of problems with it. I had a lot of problems with Meyer's style and the relationship between Edward and Bella, as you do. The vampires, honestly, I feel like I could list more bad things than I could good, and I feel like this video would be a lot shorter if I just listed the good, so we're just going to move on now. The fourth book I want to talk about is 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, okay, no one liked that book. With the exception of some perverted mommies. It's Twilight fanfiction. And I know it doesn't seem like fan fiction because they all have different names, but that's because of copyright laws and E.L. James not wanting to pay loads of money and get her butt suit off. So, I have nothing against fan fiction. Let me go ahead and say that. I've written fan fiction before. I've read it on occasion. However, when you derive fan fiction from a book that's already kind of lacking in literary merit, well, the end result is not going to be too deep. So yeah. And I'll probably see the movie coming out because the trailer made me want to see the movie, which blew my mind. Good for you, Hollywood. So, yeah. But if I do see it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to wait until a couple weeks go by so that I'm not stuck in there with a bunch of middle-aged women fantasizing. And that's all I'm going to say about that for now. The last book I want to talk about is Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. Now, I realize that this is a book most people had to read in school, although a lot of you did not. I also realize that many people behold Dickens as a grandfather of the literary canon and one of the most influential figures in literature, developer of the novel, all of that. At the same time, I don't like him. I just can't get into Dickens. No matter how many times I try, believe me, I've read Tale of Two Cities, Great Expectations, Christmas Carol. I think there's another one, but they all are almost the same, so I can't remember. Anyway, I appreciate Dickens for what he's done for the art, but I don't personally enjoy him. I hated every second of A Tale of Two Cities until the last 50 pages when it suddenly got a plot, and then I cared, and then the ending made me furious. So there you go. That's it. That book is not my friend, nor will it ever be. Okay, so that was just my brief overview of 5 books that I felt didn't live up to the hype. If you can think of any books I missed or any books I said weren't worth the hype that you personally enjoyed, please leave a comment below. Also, let me know if there are any video suggestions you have in the future. Happy writing!